This is reality TV that works. Startups, made in Kansas City.
Okay, we'll get started this morning. KC Roundtable is a group of 20 and 30-year-old entrepreneurs who come and help and support and collaborate each other.
Kansas City has an award. It's the Ingrams 20 in their 20s award. And at a reception, I met one of the other recipients. His name is Seth. We decided to go out to breakfast. And at the end of the breakfast, he asked if I wanted to meet the very next Thursday for breakfast again. And at the end of that next Thursday breakfast, he asked if I wanted to make it a regular Thursday thing. So we started inviting other friends, other entrepreneurs who were part of the Kansas City community. And over 4 years, it grew. Has a board and a president, so it's quite a fantastic story.
As president, it's my responsibility to make sure that we have the right leadership team in place for the group, to make certain that we've determined kind of our message and goals for the year and that we're staying on message. We're following through with the different events that we have said we're going to have, that we're being consistent with our meetings.
I'm in charge of getting the speakers and the other content for the KC Roundtable group, and we have speakers every 3 out of 5 groups usually, and the other 2 times we talk about each other's businesses, helping each other out, what problems they're seeing, and how we can solve some of their issues. Today we're very honored to have Burnett Hellsberg, who has a very interesting past and a successful past, and we'll learn much more about him.
Except for your questions, I mean, if I could share 1 or 2 good things with you, that'd be great.
The reason why I got involved when I did my internet company, I had no idea what to do, where to go, or even where to start. And so I kind of found KC Roundtable and went to the first meeting and realized that I don't know a lot. I needed a lot to learn. And so that's why I got involved with KC Roundtable, and when I launched it, it helped out quite a bit.
Being an entrepreneur is like being on an emotional roller coaster, and oftentimes when you start a company, it's just you. You don't have anybody to share those experiences or fears with, or even any of your great successes. And KC Roundtable gives us the opportunity to share our experiences, get advice from other people going through the exact same thing.
Our key message is that this is a place to come and be authentic, be real, and be vulnerable. And if you're not willing to be vulnerable, you're not willing to expose kind of your areas of pain or needed growth, then you're really not going to get much out of this group.
You don't always have to be on and have to be selling all the time. You can just be honest and authentic at this group and really get good feedback from peers who care about you and your business.
And we're all lucky enough to have mentors and advisors who could give us the right answers on what we should be doing, but it's more fun to be around peers who are having the same struggles you are, who can just commiserate with you.
The magic of KC Roundtable is that we are vulnerable to one another, that there is a lot of trust, and that we can go to one another and say, yeah, business is going okay, but I'm really concerned about this particular threat or this particular weakness, and how can we really improve upon them in those areas. To get involved in KC Roundtable, just show up at the First Watch in Westport. We meet the first and third Thursday of every month at 7:30 in the morning. You can visit our website at kcroundtable.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at KC Roundtable.
Kansas City, as a lot of people know, is a blooming entrepreneurship city. And that comes from all the way from the top all the way down to the entrepreneurs who are actually building the companies. And there's a lot of great events happening in Kansas City, and most of them happen at night after work. And so our little niche is to bring in like-minded people, kind of a peer-to-peer type of group that you can share and collaborate with. And we help everybody else out in the startup community as well by going to their events. They come to ours, and we're trying to build Kansas City into the entrepreneurship city in the country.
A co-production of KCPT and Outpost Worldwide. At home in Kansas City. Production, post, content.